There are a lot of rumors, especially now that Nintendo will attend E3 this year, about a new, more powerful model of the Switch. What if Nintendo released a beefier Switch? How would it succeed? What should they do? And more importantly, what should they not do? Hello there. I'm Mr. Cobwobbles, this is Alfred, and today I want to talk about the possibility of a new, stronger Switch model. I bought my Switch almost 4 years ago, and it is by far my favorite console out there. I love how versatile it is, and I love the titles that have released on it. But it's already been 4 years, and 4 years ago, the hardware was already behind on the competitors. You have to wonder, especially with consoles like the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X launching, where does the Switch go from here? Can the hardware keep up for another 4 years? In the previous Nintendo Direct, they announced Splatoon 3, a multiplayer third-person shooter game like Splatoon and Splatoon 2. A game like that will have to be supported for at least another 4 years, which implies the Switch would still be the main console from Nintendo until 2026. I find it hard to believe that Nintendo will not at least launch a new model of the Switch in that time by 2026. And now with them attending E3 this year, it could be the perfect opportunity for them to reveal it. But how could they do that without pissing half of us off? First off, Nintendo needs to make sure that let's call it the Switch Pro model, doesn't divide gamers. What I mean is that they better don't release games that you can only play on the Pro model. They should release games both on the current Switch and their Pro model. Let me clarify. If you play a new game on a current Switch system, let's say you'll get 1080p and 30 FPS and slightly worse looking graphics, while the Switch Pro model would then offer 4K when docked, better looking graphics, and 60 FPS or something. That way, people who already have a Switch don't have to buy a new Switch, and they can keep playing the games. But people who want the extra things, and let's be honest, that's very much me. Let me know if that's you in the comments. They will buy the Pro model, and over time, more and more people will hop over to that Pro model. If they do it like that, I'd honestly be fine with it. I can already see comments about 4K on Switch, that'll never happen. It could actually. The current Switch screen can do up to 720p, which is fine for a small screen like that. On a beefier Switch, they could lift that to 1080p, which is now the output that you can get out of the dock. I'm sure that with a new Switch, they could be able to put out 1440p or even 4K. Maybe not true 4K, but they could always upscale it. My TV downstairs already upscales, so I'd be surprised if similar technology doesn't exist to do that like on a hardware front in the console itself. I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 4 Pro does that. Let's also not forget that 4K will become the industry standard in the next few years, so it would be foolish to release a Switch that can't provide a 4K output when it's docked. Furthermore, the Switch already has NVIDIA parts in it, and a new Switch could maybe use NVIDIA's DLSS technology, which could provide better performance for a lot of titles. More RAM for the Switch is probably also not a bad idea, and I'm sure a new Switch Pro would be able to house 8 gigabytes of RAM, or 12 gigabytes of RAM even? Because right now it's 4, and that's a little pathetic when you compare it to the competition. What's on my personal wish list? First off, please call it the Super Nintendo Switch. It's right there, Nintendo. The Super Nintendo Switch. I would love that. Please do it. Don't go with a weird name. You always go with weird names, but Super Nintendo Switch, it's right there. They're not going to do it, but it would be cool. I'd want the screen of the new Switch to go from the edge to the edge and have minimal bezels, preferably 1080p. I'd love that 4K output from the dock, or at least 1440p, and please, for the love of anything you hold dear, fix Joy-Con drift. Holy freaking crap. There has to be a way to fix Joy-Con drift. Come on. Just make it not happen somehow. I also feel like the build quality could be better, but that is probably pushing it. Not that the current Switch breaks easily or anything, not at all, but I would love to have a more premium feel to it. Especially the dock. The dock is very flimsy. Also, if Nintendo doesn't show Breath of the Wild 2 at E3 this year, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, they said we would see more of Breath of the Wild 2 this year. E3 is the perfect time to do it, so please show us something. Please show us something, because we're waiting. We're waiting. And also, Nintendo, you can watch my video on Breath of the Wild 2, like the things that you could improve over Breath of the Wild. You could take some ideas from it if you want, he said as if they're watching his videos. My demands aren't that outrageous, right? If Nintendo makes a better Switch, I just want it to be, well, better, moving towards future industry standards and preferably still relatively affordable. Please? What do you think a new Switch model should look like? What specs does it need to have? What should it be called? Which features do you need? And do you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, subscribing, and clicking that bell. Feel free to watch another video. See you later. Hoot hoot, mother forkers.